Hey, welcome to this episode of Think Business. Looking forward to talking with Brian Town. Brian, it's always good to connect with you, CEO of Michigan Creative. You and your team, you're a creative agency that helps businesses all over the country with video production, web design, graphic design, inbound digital, traditional marketing. You guys do great work. I've seen it firsthand. I've referred you to a bunch of clients. I get rave reviews. And let's talk about a couple things. One, before we talk about everything that I just mentioned, I want to talk about how important it is to have a presence on the internet today. That sounds like a very 1990 question, 1995 question, but in where we sit today, end of 2022, moving into 2023. The way I see it as a business coach, Brian, is every business, no matter if you're selling a product or a professional service, you have to have an e-commerce presence. And it amazes me how many people don't. And I don't understand it. So you're here to tell us why.
Yeah, thanks, John. And thanks for that great intro. And a lot of people, when you hear that word e-commerce, they're thinking, well, I don't sell anything online. And that's not really the point of it. And I think, everybody right now is so used to what we call like the Amazon effect, right? We need it now. We need to know right away. And we need to be able to see if it's a good fit for us. And so really your number one salesperson is going to be your website. Now, making sure, and you'd be surprised, you're saying that that's like a 1995 thing or whatever, but, you'd be surprised how many people don't, they may have a website, but it doesn't really tell who they are, nor does it sell for them. And so in today's environment and, next year, everybody continues to get thousands of messages presented to them every day. And it's really easy for them to make purchases online. And so as a business, you better make sure that your online presence is that easy. So they should be able to, if they can't purchase anything from your site, I would consider thinking about what they can, but also can they easily get the information that they need and get a hold of somebody at your business to do business with you? And if the answer is no, you need to really talk to someone like us or another creative agency that can help you get your message right.
Yeah, let's talk about messaging, right? You've mentioned the word messaging a couple of times in what you just shared. And I think a lot of times people, they get this wrong, right? I see it firsthand. I was in the internet business back in 1995. I sold my company in 1997. So I'm very close to I love the industry. And I find that messaging, there's so many people out there that even on their website, you can't understand what they do. You can't understand how to buy. You can't understand. I mean, the attention span for a human being is less than a goldfish, which is less than 7 seconds. You don't have a lot of time to get somebody's attention. And I just want to chat on this for a minute and then lead into the question again. Right now, we are all fighting for everybody's attention. And when we know that the attention span is less than 7 seconds, we need to know that everything that we're doing from a marketing perspective is quick and easily digestible so people can take action. So talk about how somebody can do that.
Yeah, look, when I started in this business years ago, I've been in video production for 20 some years and just talking about the length of videos that were okay to watch, right? Like it used to be, we'd be producing 3 to 5 minute videos. You can't do that anymore. No one will watch anything past that time. I want people to think about this message and this message alone is that the word that we love to talk about is finally. And that message of finally is when someone sees and comes to your site or they see an ad or they see a social media post from you, does it get them to think, oh my gosh, finally, I've been looking for this company my entire life. Like, where have they been?
Yeah.
It's the message that you're going to have to get across in relatively short amount of time. And the other piece too is if you think about it, just think about the way you search for any product services that you do outside of your business. Right? So something happens, you need your well fixed, you need something's going on and you need something fixed. You Google search and you call the first number that you can click on, typically.
Yeah.
And then if that person answers the phone and they treat you well and they're like, we can be out there, you're going to go with them. If not, if they don't answer, you're going down to 2 and 3 and 4. So you have to immediately show up and you have to be that answer for that person. So messaging, when we talk about it, is what do you need to say to get them to go, this is exactly who I'm looking for? And you all know it. And the thing is, your customers tell you that all the time. But
Yeah.
what people don't do is they don't relate what your customers love about you and put it on their website or on their social media.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing is people go, yeah, our customers say that all the time. I'm like, well, your website doesn't say that.
Yeah. I
You know?
love that. I love that finally.
Yeah.
I will say this, and I'm not one to say, oh, that happens to me a lot, but that does happen to me a lot in
Yep.
the sense of, my website, you go there and it says successful, stuck, ready to get unstuck. It's like, so I get calls all the time. That I don't track my activity. I track people who are calling or emailing me saying, hey, John, I went to your website. I'm stuck. I need you to help me get unstuck.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really important, Think Community, to really get the pain and the solution to the pain out there. I want to talk about social media posts. You mentioned social media posts, and it really is amazing. Your LinkedIn posts that you post, you get 6, 7, 8, 9 plus 100 likes every time you post something that is very simple. I'm gonna 21 hours ago, so yesterday, you posted on LinkedIn, a great leader listens. That's it.
Yep.
And you had almost 700 likes. And let me see. Here's another one from 3 days ago that had over 700. Need to hire, use video to tell your story. Today's employees want culture, pay, and a mission. We can help. I mean, simple, simple, simple. So rewind how you got the following of these posts.
Yeah, let's you
and then real quickly, and then how they generate to business.
Yeah. So there's a couple stories that we can tell. Think about, like you already said, as pain and the head nod. And so I'm a educator at heart. That was my first career. And so I was the teacher who used to pass out cheesy quotes. And I always used to go, hey man, I'm going to continue to do this. I don't care if the high schoolers think I'm cheesy or not. But I remember 10, 15 years after that, I'd get students that would tell me that I still have that quote on my desk. And so for us, we're like, well, what do people want? One, they want to be inspired. Two, they have pains that we all have. And people will agree with short statements. And so what we thought is, well, why can't we just make short statements that we hear all the time our customers saying and get them to do this head nod to go, yeah. And so all we did was come up with a bunch of quotes that we felt we were passionate about. Some have to do with marketing, some have to do with leadership, because I love talking about leadership. And these are the things that I know that, and I've talked to customers and other people that are in our industry that I need to work on myself. Like, I need to listen better. I can tell you countless mistakes of where I really wasn't listening to some of my employees. And I know that's something I have to get better on. So I thought, well, I'm sure other people have screwed that up too. And so I think it's getting that message to think about the head nod, and we all know it. And, another good example of something that we did that sounds sort of anti what we should do is we made a few videos where I'm just standing there talking. And I say, I hate marketing companies and I'm a marketing company, right? Where did we get that from? Countless times of pitching where you get people going, look, man, I hate marketing companies. We've been through 3 already, so I'm not going to really listen. And I'm like, oh my gosh, people hate marketing companies. Let's find out why. And it was, and so I think it's just us taking the lessons that we already know. And John, the business owners that we work for, they know this. They all know what they should be doing in the marketing, and they know what their customers like. They just don't know how to translate that into marketing.
Yeah.
And then for us, how this has opened up the door for us is over and over again, people have said, yeah, I follow you on LinkedIn, or I've seen the video where you talk about this, and I love your quotes that are on there. And for me, it just gives me sort of that credibility that, look, man, I'm in it. I understand it and I get it. And we wanted people to know that, if they're going to work with Michigan Creative, this is the type of people that you can expect to have there. And so, for us, it's that credibility. We wanted to make sure that if we were going to be a marketing company, our marketing better be good.
Yeah. Yeah. So, when you talk about I hate marketing, it reminds me of there are these billboards that say I hate Steven Singer.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's great. And so he's a jeweler, right? He's a jeweler, and so his marketing is just outstanding.
Yeah, and he's got a domain that's I hate Steven Singer.
Right.
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
Let's talk about Of course, companies can call you and hire you, and I'm a big fan of you and your company, and I'm a big fan of people hiring specialists, et cetera. But what you just talked about, as far as taking from what your customers are saying in statements, everybody, everybody's always looking for something, and that's something that's free, right? You're not doing anything that's that complicated. Yes, you can help someone extract that. I'm not suggesting that, but think community, if you are on a budget and you're just trying to get started, the what Brian, I almost said Steven Singer,
Yeah,
what Brian just shared is you can do it. It just takes time to like pause, take some executive time, map things out. I mean, you can do it very quickly and design it yourself with on your own iPhone, and you can post it. So everybody's always looking, well, what should I post? What should I do to be more consistent? This is kind of an easy one. You just have to have the courage you have to make the time and have the courage to actually post. Yep. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. And I think also too, is just we don't make time and we don't plan. The number one thing I can tell you to do is to spend 2 hours, 3 hours and just say, look, man, for the month of January, I'm going to spend some creative time with my staff who are actually on the phones and work with our customers all the time. I'm going to ask them. And I can't, we went into one company and they were the employees were so glad that we were there, because we were going to actually ask them what they thought.
Yeah.
And they're like, because the messages that we have on our website right now, they're like, that ain't us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, man, you guys are on the phone. What do your customers say about you that they love? And they're like, oh, right. I mean, they're all about it. And then just make a plan. Say, look, this is what we're going to do in week 1. And this is what we're going to post in week 2 and 3 and 4, and then look back and see how it works.
Yeah. Create an editorial calendar. I love everything you're talking about. Let's talk about, right. Let's start small for a minute, right? What are some of the key fundamentals that every website needs to have?
Yep. So really easy. And this sounds so silly today, right? It's got to be mobile friendly. Number one, 80% to 85% of the traffic is going to be on a device. It's not going to be on a computer.
Right.
So number one, it's got to be able to be read really easily and fast on a mobile device. Number 2, you got to have an easy way for them to click to call or click to fill out a form on the homepage.
Click to take action. Click to buy. Click to right.
Yeah, they're not going to dig around. And it's great to have content on your site, and it's great to put all this other stuff on there. People do not spend a lot of time on your site. All they want to do is know that you can help them solve their pain, and here is a phone number.
Yeah.
And if we can get back to click to call and somebody can pick up the phone, I'm telling you, pick up the phone, call your customers back. They're going to say to you, if you call them back right away and they fill out a form and then you call them, they're going to go, oh my gosh, no one called me back.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so make that a priority. And then, the other thing is it's got to have that message on there right away to get people to go, oh, finally. Where are they? And if that's all you do with your site, you're in a really good space.
Yeah. My last question before we go into a little bit of a speed round is I want to talk, I think of myself, I'm a business coach, but I think of myself as a media company. And so everything that I look at, I think, okay, how many different ways can I connect to all the different senses of anybody who is coming to my social media, my website, anything that I do, my podcast. And because as much as I know who my client type are and who my avatars are, et cetera, I don't know if they are visual. I don't know if they are auditory. I don't know if they are kinesthetic. And so I create my world to be a little bit of each. So whomever is there can get what they need. And that's just talking about 3 of the many, many senses, but those are the 3 main. So as a company that not only does websites, but does graphic design and digital and traditional marketing, how should people be thinking of themselves, as far as from a visual, kinesthetic, and an auditory standpoint?
Yeah. And I think the easy way to describe this is to think about a piece of content, right? And so the easiest way I can tell you to do this is the things that we do for our own site and for our own marketing are vlogs, right? I stand in front of the camera or in front of a computer and I talk about something, right? Yeah. And then that piece of content then is used in video, obviously, because it's a video, in text form, in some sort of graphic that links to it, and then also that we use as a blog. And so really, you've got multiple pieces of content that you can use in different ways to split it up. We don't always have to do separate pieces. And so a lot of times what I want to tell people is, if you're doing something right now, I want you to triple it.
Yeah.
Triple the amount of content that you're putting out.
Yeah.
And that way people just know and come to expect, and they see you as an expert and to put it out there.
Yeah.
A lot of times we're like, hey, we got to, companies are like, we got to do this great one video and it's going to be the all greatest thing that we've ever done.
Right.
Like, yes, that's great, but what else can we do with that?
Yeah.
And
I love it.
Put it into multiple different clips.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great advice. And I take it and I triple and I triple and then I triple. And then I slow down a little bit so I don't oversaturate. And then I triple and quadruple. Then I slow down a little bit and then I triple with intention. Right. And so I think it's important any way you look at it. You triple I've tripled, quadrupled for a year straight, and then taking a month off to kind of go to 20% just because I don't want to give people a mental break from me.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is sometimes I'm like, I don't want to do these vlogs, right? Because and they're dumb. And sometimes my hair is messed up and I'm like, that's so stupid. But again and again, I hear people say, oh yeah, I watched this one on that. I heard you talk about this. And then I'm like, oh, I got to keep doing it.
Yeah. They go a long way. A long way. I wish I had hair to get messed up.
I know. Well, come on. Somebody's got to look at me a little bit. Not that vain, but
Yeah. I got it. All right. Good. Quick speed round. Book that's had, since we last spoke, book that's had a big impact on you.
Yeah. I think the E-Myth has been, I think we've talked about that one in the past. Great book. I bring it up all the time because it really talks about things that a creative person hates as process. And in the madness of business ownership, I recommend that book to everyone. Look, there is a way. This can be done. Yeah,
it's a great book. Best piece of wisdom your mom or dad gave you?
Yeah, my dad, this is quick story, but I remember this all the time, and it's just about treating people with respect. And I think, it was when I was brand new driving, we pulled up to a gas station and he was teaching me how to get gas. And I pulled into the first pump and there was a guy behind me. And I'm like, my dad's like, pull up. I'm like, he can go around. I was 16, right? And my dad's like, don't do that. Pull up, make way for that person. You never know what they're going to, you just want to make sure that you're always trying to do your very best for other people. And that stuck with me forever. I tell that story to my sons and my neighbors, and, it's just treating people with respect. And, I think the line that he used to use is that everyone you come in contact with should have a better day.
Yeah.
And that's one of our core values here at Michigan Creative, and that's from my dad.
It's awesome. Good. I love that. All right. Last question. One thing every company should do to simplify their current website is?
What is that first message when people go to the website? What is the first message they get? That's it.
Great.
That's all I want you to do. What's that one-liner?
What's the one-liner? I love it. Brian Town, CEO of Michigan Creative. Tell everybody where they can connect with you, who your ideal clients are, and all that other great stuff.
Yeah, michigancreative.com. Best way to get hold of us. Check out our core values and our team. It's my favorite part. Pick up the phone, give me a call. It's right on there in the very top. And we work with a variety of industries, a lot in the skilled trades and manufacturing space, insurance. But pretty much everybody across the country that really just wants to talk to somebody that wants to think about how they could do a better job in their marketing.
Yeah. I love this podcast. As a business coach, I work with people who are successful. I get them unstuck, and I bring on guests who continually get people unstuck. And so it goes with my mission to get over, 1 billion people coached and unstuck in the world in my lifetime. And one thing I want to extract, which is kind of like, kind of a through line of what you're talking about, is just be a really good person and start thinking about what you can do next. Don't be complacent. Right. And I think that's really, really important. And even when you don't feel like doing something, still do it and really forge ahead. So Brian, I appreciate you taking time to be on the show. Then community, if Brian can help you, please reach out. Give him your website one more time, Brian.
MichiganCreative.com. Pretty easy.
All right. And if you need me, I'm at johndwoskin.com. And we did talk about Steven Singer, so we'll give you a little shout out. I hate StevenSinger.com is is a jewelry store, but we talked about it earlier.
You need affiliate link.
Right. All right. Thanks, everybody. Brian, thanks. And have an awesome rest of the day.
Yes, sir. You too.
Thanks, man.